they attracted her. She despised potatoes, yet flipped for fries. She loved ground beef, if it arrived in a bun. She got full almost immediately at her mother's table, but had never met a bag of fast food takeout that was big enough to satiate her. What sense did any of that make? Moreover, when she was struck by the urge to eat, which could happen any time during the day or the night, even if she was not really hungry, and in fact when she couldn't be hungry, as when the craving hit her right after a meal, the certainty that she would cave into the impulse left her embarrassed. Thus, the wrappers stashed under the bed. Bradley's relationship to food was compelling too, for how it changed over time. Where, as a young girl, eating could be pure joy. I'd do a little shake when I ate. A darkness had set in by the time she entered high school. She noticed how often she ate when she felt troubled. She began to use food to deal with issues, like, as the second oldest child, not getting the kind of attention she needed from her parents. She had asthma so severe that walking too fast would cause her to gasp, meaning exercise was out. Her weight edged up and down, but eventually reached 250 pounds at age 16. On her 5'6" frame, this pushed her beyond the plus sizes in clothing. Food was by no means the only challenge in Bradley's life. She had dyslexia, which made school more difficult. Her family landed in a shelter for a time. Bradley had bouts of depression and loneliness, and when her family moved to a new neighborhood, she fiercely missed the friends she'd spent summers with out on the streets, eating ices and splashing in the water when the firefighters opened a hydrant. Yet she toughed it all out. Or maybe those were the things that made her tough. Life hadn't been easy for her thus far, but the day came when she got the chance to settle a score. The Bradley family was friendly with an attorney named Samuel Hirsch, no stranger himself to the borough's grid. Born in 1946 in an Austrian camp for people displaced by World War II, he moved with his family to Brooklyn, worked his way through law school, won a seat in the state assembly, joined a 1978 melee over the fatal stabbing of a Jewish man and got arrested for punching a cop, which he denied, and the case was dismissed. Eked out a criminal practice defending members of the mafia, and shifted gears to bring civil lawsuits on behalf of people who got hurt. He represented Bradley and several of her siblings in a case that stemmed from the lead paint in their home. The legal claim was taking years to resolve, and Hirsch visited the family with some frequency, even bringing gifts on Christmas. In 2002, Hirsch asked Bradley, then in her senior year of high school, if she would join him in a different sort of injury case. He was suing McDonald's for ruining people's health, not by accident or contamination, but through the very design of its products. This would be a much harder fight than the lead suit, with less chance of success, he knew, starting with the fact that he had no experience in this type of claim. But then again, nobody did. The closest thing up until that point had been a case brought against McDonald's for surreptitiously cooking its fries in beef fat, which the company settled not with a big payout to the plaintiff, but by donating $10 million to Hindu and vegetarian groups. Hirsch, however, was convinced that a case against McDonald's on health grounds was potentially stronger, could possibly be lucrative, and would be significant for everyone, given the pain and suffering being caused by the modern diet. An analysis from the U.S. Surgeon General, which Hirsch cited in his court papers, estimated that obesity alone caused 300,000 premature deaths each year. Hirsch quoted him as well in warning that America's eating habits may soon cause as much preventable disease and death as cigarette smoking, with heart disease, type 2 diabetes, several types of cancer, and musculoskeletal disorders, including osteoarthritis of the knee, all linked to excessive and unhealthy eating. Even the economy was taking a hit, Hirsch noted. The annual bill for obesity had been calculated to be $117 billion in medical expenses and lost wages, part of the hidden cost passed on to consumers by the manufacturers of fast and heavily processed food.